Hello and welcome back to a new Sims 4 video, and today we are building a house on a cliff, or a cliffside house, and this is in the Tartosa world that came with the wedding pack. And I decided to go for a speed build for this build in particular, because I knew I wanted to use the tool mod a lot and mess around with the terrain and also with these rocks, as you can see. And we are building in this small lot that is just like an island on its own. And I thought this would be the best spot for this house. And I honestly had this idea or this desire to build something like this because, well, for starters, I am also wanting to build something with, that isn't on a flat terrain. I feel like that's often something that I find myself wishing to do, and I think I comment that on a few videos. But also, I recently reinstalled The Sims 3 and I was just messing with it. I hadn't played in so many years. And back when I played, I didn't really build much, so I was kind of relearning how to use the tool or the build mode in The Sims 3. And it was honestly humbling, but also it was interesting to see how many differences there were between building in The Sims 3 and The Sims 4. There are some restrictions that we have in The Sims 4 that we don't in The Sims 3, and also vice versa. So I feel like one of the biggest downsides that we have in The Sims 4 is the lack of the color wheel, which we do have in The Sims 3. But then we have some other things in The Sims 4 that are better than in The Sims 3. For instance, the roofing is so much better, and also the way the rooms work, you can, push and pull them, make them bigger or smaller, however you want. It's just much better in The Sims 4. And in The Sims 3, you kind of had to use more, I feel like, more cheats to build something like this. Of course, I'm using the tool mod here. You could build without it, but I don't think it would look as nice, or it wouldn't take... I think it would take longer. The worlds in The Sims 3, that's another point to The Sims 3, let's say. The worlds are so much bigger and there is so much freedom in what you can do with them, because they let you place lots almost anywhere. And I was playing with a lot that was like on a cliffside bit, so it had like the land was going into the water, and I was like, oh, I wish I could do this in The Sims 4, because I like the building system more, or maybe I'm just more used to it in The Sims 4. So I thought I want to do this in The Sims 4, or I want a lot like this in The Sims 4. So yeah, that's how I came up with this idea of building a cliffside house. Now, obviously, this is very out there in terms of all the stairs, and that's something that was probably the most difficult thing about this build, was all of the stairs, not only outside but inside of the home as well. But yeah, mostly outside. You saw me fiddling it a bit there in the beginning, and I took a really long time to get to that stage. I had to cut out a lot of footage there just because the lot is really small, and so I had raised the house because I wanted to be like, okay, I want to make a giant box to see what are the limits of this house. So I did that. And then I was trying to fit the stairs going up the house, but then didn't have enough room to rotate them. It was just a full thing. So I had to mess around with the terrain tool as well. And finally I got it to work. It changed a few more times, but that's fine. But yeah, a cliffside house. Now, normally, and in The Sims 3, this wasn't a problem. Normally you get into the house from like a ground level. So you enter supposedly on the first floor or on the top floor, and then you have the house going down the cliff. But since we don't have that in The Sims, what I had to do was just raise it up real high, and then you have a lot of stairs to go up in order to get to the house. A normal, let's say, a normal house like this, you would get in from above, and then we would go down the levels of the house. But since we can't do that in The Sims, this is what I chose to do. So we make do with what we have. But yeah, and I was going for this stone, like going up the stairs, but then I decided to change to glass because it looked better. And since we were going to build a modern house, as you can see by the shape and by all the windows, I decided to just turn it into glass, going up the stairs up to the house. And so that's what we have there in the end. And also I did do like a sort of infinity pool type of situation. As you can see, you can actually get into it from the second floors. Well, this has many floors, not all of them are regular floors, as in you can get into them all. I think you can get into 3 of them. We will see that in the end. But yeah, the very first one is more like a foundation, so we have somewhere to put the rocks. But yeah, the idea was to put this house sitting on these rocks, and I think it went pretty well for that. I changed a bit the layout and also where the rocks, the stones would go, just because they intersect with the house a little bit, and I wanted to make that a feature. I think I've done this in the past with other builds, so you can see the rocks coming through the house, and that's on purpose. So I wanted it to be a feature because, you know, sometimes you get these builds that are very built into or to blend in with nature, and so you have all of these details, for example, an exposed wall or of brick or stone, and that's kind of the idea that I went for. But yeah, that is also why I wanted to make a speed build and not a real-time building video. I knew it would take a really long time, and to focus I had to just really get my mind into it, and then, you know, just building with music in the background. And here the speed of the video is a little bit lower. I wanted it also to kind of be able to tell what I'm doing here. And this floor right there with just what is like the entrance, it has only stairs for now, and I was thinking of turning it into an office of some sort. But we end up turning it into a living room, and we can see here under the build I had put some, like, I don't know how to call them, like beams, glass beams to kind of support the home. I left those there for a really long time, but then I decided to not go for that. I felt like it was having down the build, even though it's just glass. There was so much already going on with the rocks, so in the end I decided to put just some columns that kind of go with the color scheme of the exterior. And yeah, in terms of landscape, we didn't do much at all. These are just rocks. I did not want to put any flowers or plants going into it, so we left it simple. And when I say simple, is with no plants. So it's not simple at all in terms of this has so many rocks that you have to work with and be mindful. And this is the pool. You can actually only access it through the main bedroom, but I'm not mad at that. I feel like this is a couple that has only one child, and so if the child wants to go to the pool, they can just go through the parents' bedroom, or you could swap out the window for another door in their bedroom. So I decided to leave it like that, and I feel like it's a really cool feature that you can see when you're in the lower floor. You can see through the water and into the landscape. And also, obviously, that is another reason why I wanted a house like this, is you have an amazing view of the sea and also the city, you know. And I was thinking, are all of these windows really safe in terms of, if this was a real house, wouldn't people just look into it? But then I thought, you know what, this is a separate kind of island, so I don't feel like people in the city could really see into it, or if they could, they couldn't really tell much. And also, if someone can afford to have a house like this in their own, like, almost private little island, I feel like it's fine to have those windows, and, you know, they can be like mirror-y, they can reflect instead of being through from the outside. So yeah, and here I am extending that floor, that first floor where you enter from, and this changed so many times. I wanted it to be just an entryway for the house, and then I expanded it. I wanted it to be an office, as I said, but then it ends up being a living room. And that is because we have a living room on the main regular floor, but it felt like I didn't put a TV in it, for instance. We had those beautiful windows. I didn't want to cover them with like a TV in front of it or remove some of them to put a TV. I felt like if you have a view like this, you can just take all of it in and you don't need a TV. But then again, if you want a TV, I did include that in the living room in the first or in the entrance floor. I feel like it's easier to call it that. But yeah, we also have this little, I don't know what to call it really, but this little platform here outside. We still had some like room in front of the house to do something, so I wanted to use that for our advantage. So I did build a little thing there, and we ended up putting like some chairs and a table outside so they could eat outside. With a house like this, you would want to be eating outside, at least I would. And so we put that there. And for the color scheme of the house, I experimented a lot with stone because I wanted to try and make it as if they had used the stones or from the rocks they had all around. But then I think we swapped that for like wood and whites, some dark wood. I feel like it fit better into this theme of this modern house. And we go for a lot of white accents as well. And we end up having also this little balcony on the entrance floor. And as you can see, I'm trying to put a lot of stone details, not only on the walls, but also on the floor. That changes over time as I figure out what I really want to do with the color scheme. And this floor here isn't exactly a floor. It ends up being closed out in the end, and this is the floor that isn't accessible. So technically this has 4 floors. It just hides, that first one just hides the rocks that we have there. And yeah, I took a long time to figure out the placement of doors and windows, to access balconies, to get into the rooms. So I changed a lot. I changed the floor plan a lot as well. And sometimes when I look at builds, at modern or contemporary builds, and I do an open floor plan, it seems easier than just having to kind of put all the rooms into different wall segments. However, this sometimes can be a challenge. It was a little bit in this space because it was so open. I didn't know where I wanted to put the kitchen and the dining. I like them to always be next to each other because it just makes more sense. But the space wasn't really working. I end up leaving as it, as we will see in the final product. But I did try to. It just felt like a bit of a squeeze. But I feel like Sims can get around to it very easily. And over here, I started experimenting with the wood tones, as you can see. We end up going, I think not for this one, a darker one. But this is where I was experimenting and I was like, wait, this actually looks better. Or I like this better. And then we put some wood columns to help support the home, because this is a pretty hefty home. It's not big like on the interior. The lot is a fairly small lot, but this has 2 bedrooms. It has a main floor. So in terms of the actual house itself, it's the size is okay. I feel like someone who can afford this would do something bigger, maybe, or maybe not. But yeah, this ends up being the child's bedroom, and we have the main bedroom, which I figured was the parents' bedroom. But yeah, this is more or less the final, not the final wallpapers that we use, but the color scheme kind of ends up looking like this in the end. And for this little balcony, I added in this main floor, in this kids' bedroom, and that is because they don't have access to the pool. So they only had windows, but I still wanted to give them their own little private outside access area. So that's what it's for, and they can just use it for whatever they want. I think I put there in the end something to do with meditation, and here I am just swapping the stone for the wood, and we go for this dark wood also in the interior for all of the rooms. And as I said, we have some nice white accents, so that's what we are doing here. I put these on the balcony because they looked nice and better than the windows I feel like I was using before to kind of make that part in the kids' balcony. But yeah, as you can see, the pool right there, I'm obsessed with it. It's such a simple thing to have a pool there. And of course, you could not have the pool there and you would have more space. You could put more bedrooms in the upper floor if that's what you wanted to do. This is not your regular build, and I feel like I build a lot of those builds. And here I am experimenting with these debug or live edit columns. I tried a stone one first, but then since we had the wood, I decided to go for that. And I, of course, had to resize it using the tool mod, checking that the height is good. And so we put a few of these around. And again, using the tool mod really helps this, especially because it lets you move stuff outside of the lot limits. So not walls or anything like that, but objects for sure. And there are also so many things that don't make to the final build that I spend a lot of time in. For instance, that little bit that I was doing there is an example of like putting the column on the far corner of the roof. Those things, sometimes I go full into them. I spend like, I don't know, 20 minutes on something, and then I decide it doesn't look good or I don't like it, and so I end up scratching it. Of course, that usually doesn't make it into the final build. But yeah, just something that helps a bit with doing a speed build is that you actually can control that a little bit better. So I don't feel as though I've wasted time because I was still, experimenting and see what works and what doesn't. And that is also experience for future builds. But yeah, on to where we're seeing now. This is a skylight that I did for the main bedroom. So we have that, of course. This is a house filled with windows and glass doors. So just having a skylight felt also right. And who wouldn't like that? Oh, and I used these rugs, these stone rugs, on some of these parts, just because you could see the distortion of the terrain. So I kind of hid that. I tried to paint it. It wasn't really painting because when it's very steep, it like only shows the dirt of it. We also put one column here as well. I felt like it was missing there to support that exterior area. But yeah, we did use those rugs. I don't think I used them at all ever. I've started using them on like fireplaces. But yeah, we have some other rugs that have different and better details for that. And we do use these beams a lot. I feel like they're just so modern. And also they help give that little bit of privacy if you wanted that look. But yeah, they also add some more dark wood details to the build. So we mix this stone with white concrete-ish and then the wood, so there's some warmth to it. And yeah, these windows here, I like them because they give like this illusion that the wall is sloped. It really isn't. Now this is very fast. I didn't mean it to be this fast. You can see more or less what I was talking about, having the layout. We have the kitchen on one side and then the living and dining in the other. Now that footage was going really fast. I don't know what happened there, but this is tamer. This is the kids' bedroom. So we have a lot of stuff already furnished. And this ends up being more like a gamer's, a teenager bedroom, with some gaming stuff and also some other activities. We will get to it when we tour the build. But yeah, the style of the interior is very, modern, contemporary. It's very much in my comfort zone. So I kind of missed being just chill and building with that style. And also another cool thing about this build is that each bedroom has its own bathroom, so I think that's a plus. And the main bedroom has a walk-in closet as well. And this build has no CC whatsoever, so it only uses Maxis packs. But I'm just here mumbling and going over it. I think we should just jump into the game and check out the final build. So here we are in the final build, and this is what it ended up looking like. I feel like the lighting in this world and also this lot is really good. But yeah, let's check out all of the sides. This is one of the sides of the home and also the back of it. And this rock here kind of covers this window, but it's a bathroom window, so it's actually fine. And then we have this part over here, and I feel like they decided to build it on a slope because of the rocks, so the house wouldn't go against the rocks here. But yeah, we have a lot of stairs here, and if we go up the stairs, as I said, this floor doesn't really count for anything. So we get to the first floor, the first actual livable floor. And as we go in, we have this entryway area. And then right next to it, we have the living room. And this is what it looks like. It's simple, it's modern. I like the grounding colors in this, very earthy. And yeah, we have this huge TV here. We have these beams to separate the living from the entryway. And we also have a door here that leads outside. Now, the camera goes a little bit crazy on these upper levels of the game. But yeah, this is the view that we have. I think it's so gorgeous. We have a little sitting area with some popcorn or peanuts to chat. But yeah, very nice entryway. And then we go up the stairs to the first main floor. We have a bar right here. We have a window to go outside. We'll get there in a second. But we have the kitchen here. I really like these colors. I like the dark and the contrast that it provides with the exterior and the whites that we have there. But yeah, the gold accents, I really like those. And then next to it, we have a small hallway, if you can call it that. But we have here the eating area or the dining area. I really like these objects. They're simple and very nice. And then we have the living room. And as I was saying, this has no TV. I feel like it would be such a crime to put a TV here. I mean, obviously you could maybe off to one side or use this wall to put a TV instead of the fireplace. But I really wanted to keep it simple. And I just felt like it would be really cool to just sit here, play some music, think and read with this amazing view, and also the view through the pool. It's really cool. And through this door we have a bathroom. Now the camera goes crazy, but this is what it looks like. Oh god. It's also a dark bathroom, and something about dark bathrooms just give me a little bit of luxury. But yeah, it has some hints of green and also those white curtains as well and towels. And the view is just a sneak peek, of course. You can definitely remove this rock here from here. We have some more decoration over here. Now let's go back to this floor, and through here we have this access to the outside. We have a telescope here, and then we go down this way and we have this small eating area. I mean, look at this view. To have breakfast here or something, it's just really nice. And you still get a little bit of privacy with this stone right here. So yeah, it's almost like accidental but also thought through. But yeah, we go inside and around, go up these stairs again, and we have the landing right here. I kept this simple. We have some gorgeous windows, so we don't really need much. And through here we have the main bedroom. Now we do have this skylight, obviously, which is really nice. But we also have this custom headboard that I did with chopping boards, and I just flip them around, size them up. Sometimes I do stuff like that to do like custom furniture, yeah. And then through here we have access to the outside and the pool. Now how nice is that? You have also a relaxing area here with with the towel as well. Then back into the room again, and this is the walk-in closet. So there are these 4 doors that I did. These are just regular dividers that I kind of scooch into the wall. But yeah, I really did like using these built-ins, and also this centerpiece, as in where they put their jewelry and stuff. But yeah, such a really nice walk-in closet, and we have a door here that leads to their ensuite. So this is more on the simple side. It's a very white, beigey or off-white. But yeah, of course, it has a bathtub with this gorgeous view. I feel like if you have a house like this, you need to have a bathtub to take long bubble baths and enjoy the view that you have of the sea and the mountains. But yeah, now back again, and through this door we have the teens or the child's bedroom. Over here we have the little gaming station area with, of course, a good, beautiful big window, some decoration, nicks and knacks. And then there is this divider to separate from the rest of the bedroom, and over here we have the we have the bed, some plushies, and also a piano. I feel like they could be into music as well. And they also have their own little built-in, and over here they have their own balcony as well. So it's quite simple. It has this meditating pillow, also a chair. You could put an easel over here as well if they're into art. And through this door they have their own bathroom, so I had more fun with this and put some of these like stickers or wall decals, so it's not as a serious bathroom, let's say. But yeah, I really enjoyed this, the little cats. I did include also some solar panels. That's obviously handy if you have eco lifestyle. But yeah, this is the floor plan, and also I just want to take another moment to appreciate the lighting. It's just really nice. Okay, back to it. The floor plan, this is what it looks like. This is the upmost floor. This is the common area, and as you can see, it has a lot of dark woods, which I really enjoy, and also the entrance slash. So what do we think of this build? I'm actually quite proud of it. Yeah, so let me know what you think of this build. This took me a while to finish, but I'm really proud of it. I really like the outcome of it. If you want to download it, it is on the gallery. My ID is CatsAgainstCrime, and also all of my other builds are there. And if you have any other suggestions for builds or challenges, please, they are always very welcome. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Bye bye.